But the boy laughed and said pleasantly, though he looked a little startled, "Don't mind me. Stay, if you like. Shan't I disturb you?" "Not a bit. I only came here because I don't know many people, and felt rather strange at first, you know." "So did I. Don't go away, please, unless you'd rather." The boy sat down again and looked at his palms, till Joe said, trying to be polite and easy, "I think I've had the pleasure of seeing you before. You live near us, don't you?"
Next door."
And he looked up and laughed outright, for Joe's prim manner was rather funny when he remembered how they had chatted about cricket when he brought the cat home. That put Joe at her ease, and she laughed too, as she said in her heartiest way, "We did have such a good time over your nice Christmas present."
"Grandpa sent it."
"But you put it into his head, didn't you now?"
"How's your cat, Miss March?"
asked the boy, trying to look sober while his black eyes shone with fun. "Nicely, thank you, Mr. Lawrence. But I'm not Miss March. I'm only Joe," returned the young lady.
"I'm not Mr. Lawrence. I'm only Laurie."
"Laurie Lawrence? What an odd name!"
My first name is Theodore, but I don't like it, for the fellows called me Dora, so I made them say Laurie instead."
"I hate my name too. So sentimental. I wish everyone would just say Joe instead of Josephine. How did you make the boys stop calling you Dora?"
"I thrashed them."
"Oh, I can't thrash Aunt March, so I suppose I shall have to bear it." And Joe resigned herself with a sign.
"Don't you like to dance, Miss Joe?"
asked Laurie, looking as if he thought the name suited her. "I like it well enough if there's plenty of room and everyone is lively. In a place like this, I'm sure to upset something, tread on people's toes, or do something dreadful. So I keep out of mischief and let Meg sail about. Don't you dance?"
"Sometimes. You see, I've been abroad a good many years, and haven't been into company enough yet to know how you do things here."
"Abroad!" cried Joe. "Oh, tell me about it. I love dearly to hear people describe their travels." Laurie didn't seem to know where to begin, but Joe's eager questions soon set him going, and he told her how he had been at school in Vevey, where the boys never wore hats, and had a fleet of boats on the lake, and for holiday fun went on walking trips about Switzerland with their teachers. "Oh, don't I wish I'd been there!" cried Joe. "Did you go to Paris?"
"We spent the last winter there."
"Can you talk in French?"
We were not allowed to speak anything else at Vevey."
"Do say some. I can read it, but I can't pronounce."
"Quel nom a cette jeune demoiselle en les pantoufles jolies?" said Laurie good-naturedly.
"How nicely you do it! Let me see. You said, 'Who is the young lady in the pretty slippers?' didn't you?"
"Oui, mademoiselle."
It's my sister, Margaret, and you knew it was. Do you think she's pretty?"
"Yes. She makes me think of the German girls. She looks so fresh and quiet and dances like a lady."
Joe quite glowed with pleasure at this boyish praise of her sister, and stored it up to repeat to Meg. Both peeped and criticized and chatted till they felt like old acquaintances. Laurie's bashfulness soon wore off, for Joe's gentlemanly demeanor amused and set him at his ease. And Joe was her merry self again, because her dress was forgotten and nobody lifted their eyebrows at her. She liked the Lawrence boy better than ever, and took several good looks at him, so that she might describe him to the girls, for they had no brothers, very few male cousins, and boys were almost unknown creatures to them. Curly black hair, brown skin, big black eyes, handsome nose, fine teeth, small hands and feet, taller than I am, very polite for a boy, and altogether jolly. Wonder how old is he? It was on the tip of Joe's tongue to ask, But she checked herself in time and, with unusual tact, tried to find out in a roundabout way. I suppose you're going to college soon? I see you pegging away at your books. No, I mean studying hard. And Joe blushed at the dreadful pegging which had escaped her. Laurie smiled, but didn't seem shocked, and answered with a shrug. Not for a year or two. I won't go before 17 anyway. Aren't you but 15? Asked Joe, looking at the tall lad whom she had imagined 17 already. 16, next month. Oh, how I wish I was going to college. You don't look as if you liked it. I hate it. Nothing but grinding or skylarking, and I don't like the way the fellows do either in this country. What do you like? To live in Italy and to enjoy myself in my own way. Joe wanted very much to ask what his own way was, but his black brows looked rather threatening as he knit them. So she changed the subject by saying, as her foot kept time, That's a splendid polka. Why don't you go and try it? If you will come too, he answered with a gallant little bow. I can't, for I told Meg I wouldn't, because... There Joe stopped and looked undecided whether to tell or to laugh. Because of what? Asked Laura curiously. You won't tell? Never. Well, I have a bad trick of standing before the fire, and so I burn my frocks, and I scorched this one, and though it's nicely mended, it shows, and Meg told me to keep still, so no one would see it. You may laugh if you want to. It is funny, I know. But Laurie didn't laugh. He only looked down a minute, and the expression of his face puzzled Joe, when he said very gently, Never mind that. I'll tell you how we can manage. There's a long hall out there, and we can dance grandly, and no one will see us. Please come. Joe thanked him and gladly went, wishing she had 2 neat gloves when she saw the nice pearl-colored ones her partner wore. The hall was empty, and they had a grand polka, for Laurie danced well and taught her the German step, which delighted Joe, being full of swing and spring. When the music stopped, they sat down on the stairs to get their breath, and Laurie was in the midst of an account of a students' festival at Heidelberg when Meg appeared in search of her sister. She beckoned, and Joe reluctantly followed her into a side room, where she found her on a sofa, holding her foot, looking pale. Oh, I've sprained my ankle. That stupid high heel turned and gave me that wrench. It aches so I can hardly stand, and I don't know how I'm ever going to get home, she said, rocking to and fro in pain. Oh, I knew you'd hurt your feet with those silly shoes. I'm sorry, but I don't see what you can do except get a carriage or stay here all night, answered Joe, softly rubbing the poor ankle as she spoke. I can't have a carriage without its costing ever so much. I dare say I can't get one at all, for most people come in their own, and it's a long way to the stable and no one to send. I'll go. No, indeed, it's past 9 and dark as Egypt. I can't stop here, for the house is full. Sally has some girls staying with her. I'll rest till Hannah comes and do the best I can. I'll ask Laurie. He will go, said Joe, looking relieved as the idea occurred to her. Mercy, no! Don't ask or tell anyone. Get me my rubbers and put the slippers with our things. I can't dance any more. But as soon as the supper is over, watch for Hannah and tell me the minute she comes. They are going out to supper now. I'll stay with you. I'd rather... No, dear, run along and bring me some coffee. I'm so tired I can't stir. So Meg reclined with rubbers well hidden, and Jill went blundering away to the dining room, which she found after going into a china closet and opening the door of a room where old Mr. Gardner was taking a little private refreshment. Making a dart at the table, she secured the coffee, which she immediately spilled, thereby making the front of her dress as bad as the back. Oh, dear, what a blunderbuss I am, exclaimed Joe, finishing Meg's glove by scrubbing her gown with it. Can I help you? said a friendly voice. And there was Laurie with a full cup in one hand and a plate of ice in the other. I was trying to get something for Meg, who is very tired, and someone shook me, and here I am in a nice state, answered Joe, glancing dismally from the stained skirt to the coffee-colored glove. Too bad. I was looking for someone to give this to. May I take you to your sister? Oh, thank you. I'll show you where she is. I don't offer to take it myself, for I should only get into another scrape if I did. Joe led the way, and, as if used to waiting on ladies, Laurie drew up a little table, brought a second installment of coffee and ice for Joe, and was so obliging that even particular Meg pronounced him a nice boy. They had a merry time over the bonbons and motos, and were in the midst of a quiet game of buzz with 2 or 3 other young people who had stayed in, when Hannah appeared. Meg forgot her foot and rose so quickly that she was forced to catch hold of Joe with an exclamation of pain.